to today's 5 minutes a day to prepare us for acing their maths GCSE exams. And we start with question 1, which asks us to work out what would be 64 to the power 2 over 3. So every single time that we have powers in the form of a fraction, as we have here 2 over 3, it's good to think, how can we express the number we are raising to the power, so in our case 64, in terms of a number to some power? So I have a few options here. So 64 is 8 squared. So we know that this is 64. But 4 to the power 3 would also be 64 because we have 4 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4 we know is 16. 16 times 4 give me exactly the 64. Or I have the option 2 to the power 6. Because one very easy way to remember it is that 2 to the power 3 times 2 to the power 3 would give me 2 to the power 6. How I know that I need 2 to the power 3 times 2 to the power 3? Because essentially that's 8 times 8, which brings me to the first example where 8 squared is 64. So now it's the time of thinking, okay, which one do I need here? So I would prefer this one, simply because I see that I have 3 in the denominator here, and you're going to see in a moment how this would work out. Let's recap a very important example. If I have a to the power m to some power n, we always need to multiply the two powers. So it would be a to the power m times n. You can remember that every single time that I have a number raised to some power and then the whole thing is raised to another power, I always times the powers. So let's take a look at an example. If I have 5 to the power 3 to the power 2, I need to multiply the two powers, so it's 5 to the power 3 times 2, which gives me 5 to the power of 6. It's exactly the same thing, even if I have fractional power. So another example is if I have 5 to the power 5, everything to the power a fifth. Now when I multiply, the power becomes 5 times 1 over 5, which is just 5 to the power 1, which is just 5. And now I'm also done. So now how do we apply it in our case? So you take a look that we have 64 to the power 2 over 3. But I can express the 64, and I can put that in brackets, as 4 to the power 3. And then raise everything to 2 over 3. And I'm not changing anything because essentially this is just 64, and it's exactly the same thing, 64 to the power 2 over 3. How do I solve that? Exactly the same as here. I need to multiply the two powers, so it will become 4 to the power 3 times 2 over 3. And this would just give me 4 to the power 3 times 2 is 6, divided by 3, just 2. So I have 4 to the power 2. And this gives me 16. Always make sure to finish with giving it as a number and not just like a number to some power. So here I have that 64 to the power 2 over 3 would be equal to just 16. And that's it. We're done. So now let's take a look at question 2. So let's take a look at question 2, which asks us to write down the exact value of sine 45 and also the exact value of sine 0. So I think it will be a good way here to recap how do we find the sines of the main angles that are 0, 30, 45, 60 and 90. And I think the easiest way to remember it is to know that when we have the sine of 0 is just 0. And that also for the 90 degrees, it's going to be 1. And then to remember those in between, it's really easy. So it's going to be a fraction where the denominator would be 2. And in the numerator for 30, it will be square root of 1. For 45, it will be square root of 2. And for 60, it will be the square root of 3. The one that we can simplify straight away because we know the square root of 1 is just equal to 1. So this is the same as a half. But the other ones we cannot simplify further. And that's it. The ones that we are asking the question are the 0 and sine 45. So sine of 0 would be 0, and sine of 45 would be equal to square root of 2 over 2. And we're done. Thank you so much for joining. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel for more videos like that. Comment down below if you have any questions, and see you in the next one. Thank you for joining.